MoVernie on the Move is brought to you by the Property Restoration Specialists, Winmar, Toronto.
I came to work for Ford, and my first assignment outside of Dearborn was Memphis, Tennessee, calling on dealers as what we call them in the States. It's called a zone manager. So you wholesale the parts and cars, and so when you become a field rep, you get a company car. So I had that Escort for about 5 years, and I was so excited when I got my first company car, and it happened to be a Mercor XR4 Ti, which is back when we had Mercor, so not a lot of people may remember Mercor, but it was a brand we had that came from Europe, and it was gorgeous, and I took my wonderful Ford Escort to the wholesaler, and I got $500 for it.
So how much did your dad pay for it?
Well, that I don't know.
Yeah.
It was probably more than $500.
With all the work, it would bump up the price.
But you know what? It was a great vehicle. It served me very well.
And you've been with Ford
29 years in October.
It was
29 years. Went by like that.
What makes you continue, and what Ford makes you want to continue and build and grow with Ford?
Stay with Ford?
Yes.
Well, you know what? When I graduated from university, I needed a job, and Ford was hiring, so I didn't have any aspirations to work in the car business. It just happened, and I'm so thankful because I love working for Ford. I love the industry. It's constantly changing. It's never dull, and I've had like this just great career where every job I've had, and I've had so many jobs I couldn't count. Every job I learned more from. Every job I had these amazing leaders to work for, and 29 years later, I feel like I've never worked a day in my professional life, which is pretty cool.
So who has been your biggest mentor at Ford?
I've had so many mentors over the years, from my very early days up until now. So there have been so many mentors as well, but even the leaders that we have today, certainly Alan Mullally was an incredible mentor to everybody at Ford. But Mark Fields, our CEO today, I've worked for Mark when he was president of the Americas, and he's just a tremendous leader, and he's just picked up right where Alan left off, so he's just been a great mentor to me as well. Jim Farley, who was in charge of global marketing, sales, and service. Certainly my boss now, Joe Hinrichs, who's in charge of the Americas, and he's just been a tremendous role model. So, but there's been so many earlier in my career. I can't say I ever had a bad boss, which is fantastic. And then there's plenty of other people that I learn from today, new leaders that I'm working with. So it's been a big part of certainly my professional development at Ford, but also how happy I am working here.
So, like today, Ryan Seacrest was motivating to the university students, and he said one of his things was like, don't be afraid to be rejected,
Yes.
and don't be to be immune to saying no and keep on trying and challenge yourself. Now, you're a female CEO, which is to this day like some people might be looking up to you and grow and see you as an idol. What are some of the challenges that you have to be a female CEO, and what are some of the positive message you want to give it to the people who look up to you as a role model?
Well, I don't know if it's because I'm just unique, but I've never really felt like I had challenges because I was a female in what is considered a male-dominated industry. That hasn't been an issue for me that I've faced in my career, and I don't know, like I said, maybe I'm unique, but I just haven't found that to be an issue at all, because as I said, the mentors I just mentioned, they were all male. They were tremendous role models. I've had a lot of terrific women role models as well, but what I say to young women, certainly young men too, but young women that aren't considering the automotive industry, it's a great place to work. It's a really wonderful industry, and if it's not something you're considering, you should, right? So I guess that would be my point of view on that topic.
Are you based in Detroit, or are you
Based in Oakville.
Brennan and I are here as social media influencers. What are your plans for using social media in the future, going forward?
Well, it's so important, and of course, Craig and Anson are fabulous social media experts. And social media, when I came to Canada, even though social media certainly wasn't new 4 years ago, the impact it's had on any industry for that matter has been profound. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity for us to have a conversation with our customers and people considering Ford. And it's a great opportunity to tell our story, right? In a very different way, in a non-traditional way, in a much more real, genuine, practical way, right? But I think with that comes, it's a wonderful opportunity, but it's a big challenge too, because you have to be ready to have a conversation when you feel like it's a big ocean of conversation, right? So it's a big part of what we've done. I'm really proud of, Anson and Craig for all that they've done to support our efforts in this space. But it's a team sport, right? You're a really influential part of what can impact a brand, whether it's Ford or it's another, or it's any other brand, right? And that's why it's so important to really be attuned to the conversation that's out there.
I born and kind of like raised to Markham, Ontario. Last year I was here to see the Supercar GT, and now here to know that it's built in Markham, Ontario. How important is Canada and manufacturing to play a part with the United States, the Ford division, and to have build cars in the Canadian industry?
It's very important because certainly attracting manufacturing investments in Canada is very, very key. And the reality is manufacturing in Canada is shrinking at a time where it's growing in the U.S. and Mexico. So we are really excited about Oakville and the announcement we made in 2012. We've got 4,500 Canadians now working in the Oakville assembly plant. It's a global platform that we're building for the world. So it was a really terrific story in 2012 and one we are still so excited about today. And of course the announcement with GT last year, built in Markham. Obviously it's a small volume, but it's a big pride point for us, and we're really excited about it. And we also have our Windsor operations, and our Windsor operations, Essex was the only plant in North America to reopen when we went through the crisis. And today I think we have about 750 proud Canadians working in the Windsor operations, which is fantastic. That's also up considerably from a few years ago. But the reality is we want more manufacturing investments. And the reason why it's important, obviously, selfishly, I'd love to see Canadian investments in Canada because having the privilege to lead the Canadian operations, it's good for Ford. But there's so much that goes into that decision. And we need to make sure that we have all our stakeholders, whether it's Unifor, to make sure we have a competitive labor agreement, certainly our government partners, to make sure that we have incentives that are competitive, trade agreements that make sense, that certainly promote free trade. All those combinations come together to make a case for manufacturing investment. Because at the end of the day, what's good for Canada from an economic standpoint is jobs. And it's a huge creator of jobs, not only for the plant itself and Ford and the 4,500 people that I mentioned working in Oakville, but it's all the supply base that surrounds it. Because for every one automotive job, there's at least 10 people spin off that creates the supply base. So it's very important.
Now, I also noticed that this year's message is create better lifestyle, to live better for the people in the society. I also noticed that Ford has joint venture with Toyota to form the Smart Link services, and also wants to get other car manufacturers to build a stronger alliance to in case like Apple and Google. And how important, what is the initiative of that, and why is it important to joint ventures with all the car company to build that specific Smart Link service?
Well, over the years we've had a number of joint ventures with some of the other automakers. So it's something that we certainly routinely do that benefits both. But when you think about what's happening in our industry, And now conversations with Google or Apple or other technology companies, right? This has been going on now for the past few years. And I think we have to look at solutions for the future that make sense for everyone. And it may not be just one tech company that comes up with a solution or one auto company that comes up with a solution, but collectively what makes sense for various industries to come together. Autonomous vehicles is a really interesting example of what that might look like in the future. I'm sure you heard a lot about it this morning. It's really exciting. I mean, there will be a day where we have autonomous vehicles on the road, and not just a few, right? When that day comes, the technology will be ready way before I think the world's ready, because obviously regulation. In Canada, we still have 25 million vehicles on the road today. 25 million vehicles on the road today. None of them are autonomous. So even if you throw some autonomous vehicles, on the road, and it's a million autonomous vehicles, how does that interact with, the 25 million vehicles on the road today? And then how do people become comfortable? Because think about that, right? And the whole dynamic about, okay, it's really cool that the car is going to drive itself, but am I going to be confident that when it's time for that car to swerve or stop or go, will it, right? And of course, the answer is yes. And I mean, we're building these autonomous vehicles. They're going to be safer than any driver that's out there on the road, which is great. But at some point, how that transforms and evolves over the next couple of years, I think will be really exciting to watch.
What's the time frame you guys looking at actually having these vehicles on the road?
Well, I think we've said publicly that in the next 5 years, we'd see autonomous vehicles on the road. Right? Stay tuned.
I remember a few years ago.
But let me come back to that. Saying that, we'll be ready. But there's regulations. There's a lot that still needs to happen. I mean, Ontario has said they will allow autonomous vehicles on the roads for testing. That's pretty exciting stuff,
But
right?
we don't have a nice city like Michigan. M-City, sorry.
Yes.
So it'll be in the general public.
Well, I think in the future, we'll see, right? But, and certainly we're just, starting to test autonomous vehicles in snowy conditions, which is fantastic for Canada because it's going to have to work in snowy conditions.
Well, not if we have a winter like the one we had.
A lot of activity going on over there.
Well, something big was supposed to be revealed at
Oh, the
4:45.
Fusion race car.
Oh, that's right. They do
Yes.
How's it look?
There you go. There's a Fusion race car. That's pretty cool. More exciting news from Ford.
Yes.
A few years ago, Ford quality has shot up. And a lot of people are buying Ford. What was one of the factors for that?
Well, back when we started the One Ford plan, we had 4 pillars: quality, safe, green, just efficient, and smart technologies. Quality is price of entry today. It really is. It's what customers expect, but it's absolutely a top priority in everything we build. And when you're bringing to market so many new vehicles, when you look at how many vehicles we've launched over the years, just even looking at last year with all the activity we had with the launches, certainly the new F-150, which was a big one, the new Explorer, the new Edge, right, a new Focus, our commercial vehicles with the Transit vans, and then this year, new Fusion, new Escape, new Super Duty, new Lincoln MKZ, more to follow on that. It's just a lot of launch activity, more than we've ever done. And that's happening around the globe. And it's just not vehicles, it's powertrain. So the most important thing is you get all that right and you make sure you don't do anything to compromise quality. But it's going to continue to be absolutely critical that we maintain those levels.
Well, I remember growing up, it was like, this is just memories from Trinidad. You had a Ford and it was like fix or repair daily.
Yes.
And now it's like, oh, you have a Ford.
Yeah, see?
So the looking at the brand has changed.
But it goes to show how important your reputation is.
Yeah.
Because, regretfully, we had a time where that's what the acronym for Ford stood for, right? And a lot's changed over the years, and we're really proud that we're in the place we are today.
Tell me some of your community activities that Ford supports.
Well, there's so much that we do in the community. Certainly United Way is a big deal for us. Certainly at CHQ, we spend a lot of time promoting and helping support the United Way, and it's helpful because the United Way can go to the local community and help decide, who is in need. Because the biggest challenge we have in our community about giving back, and it gets back to our roots with Henry Ford, it's all about giving back. There's so many demands and needs out there, and it makes it really hard as a company to decide, I'm going to help this organization, but I can't help this. So that's a challenge for us. So we've really tried to be focused on where we support our efforts, our employee efforts, our financial efforts. Certainly United Way is a big one. The Terry Fox Run, I've become very familiar with the Terry Fox story, which is an incredible inspiration since I've been here. Juvenile diabetes, we work very closely. And one of the things I'm most proud of is our recent partnership with Free the Children. And that's just so exciting. I wasn't familiar with Free the Children until I came to Canada. If you've ever been to a Wee Day, have you ever been to a Wee Day?
My kids have been, and they've been blown away.
Yes. And when you think about empowering young kids to give back and just inspire them to make a difference, if we just start with that and being a part of that, think about what we can do, right? And we're just taking our 7,000 employees that work at Ford Canada, and we throw all our dealership employees, in Canada, and then their families and their kids. I mean, then you've got an army of advocates to go out there and help their communities, and we find that to be really exciting. And we're in our third year of the partnership, and it's been great fun.
I just want to say I actually learned a lot Ford with good quality and think out of the box technology. I also built a strong interaction with Ford through the sponsorship with the MLSE, the Toronto Raptors, and the Ford Fanatic, the Maple Leafs. So I just want to say thank you to continue to sponsor MLSE, because a lot of fans just grew and noticed about Ford through in the sports interaction. And Toronto is hosting All-Star games, so I just want to get a special shout out to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because it wasn't that long ago. I think it's been 25 years we've been partners with MLSE. And the challenge a few years back was everybody knows what the Blue Oval is. We don't have an awareness problem. People know Ford, right? Where we had the opportunity is we need more people to consider Ford, right? And get to know Ford. So we changed the sponsorship. You probably didn't even notice. We took those Blue Ovals off the ice because they said we don't have an awareness problem. And, we created the Ford Fan Deck. So we repurpose elements of our sponsorship so we could tell our story, a lot of which we've done on social media, which has been so much fun. People are getting to know Ford just through doing that different level of communication, right? And I hear the stories all the time. I heard a story last year about a young boy whose grandmother was a big Maple Leafs fan, and she wanted to go to a game, but she could never afford to go, and somehow got her up into the Ford Fan Deck, and then she met some hockey player, and it was just, woo, Wallapalooza. Everybody heard about it. That is so cool.
It's a cool story.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, so on behalf of MoVernie on the Move, really thank you for your time.
You're very
and
welcome.
Thank you Ford Canada for having us and recognizing the importance of social media influencer and having us here to cover the North American International AutoShow. So I really thank you for your time.
Well, you are very welcome, and I should be thanking you. So.
This segment of MoVernie on the Move is brought to you by Winmar Toronto, the property restoration specialist.